The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to themikewagnershow@gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We've got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also, Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also, follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady out of North Carolina who started a group that is basically it's helping frontline workers prevent burnout with coping wellness, and also she's an entrepreneur, and she's very good at what she does during this pandemic in times of crisis. So she gets health professionals with other professionals and brings them together, and it works like magic. And she's had experience as a school-based counselor for Wake County Public Schools in North Carolina. She was executive director for Oxford Manor Achievement School in Durham and program coordinator for numerous areas, including New York City. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the beautiful farm in North Carolina, she's a head of wellness in real life. Ladies and gentlemen, forget the medicines and get some good spirits from Dr. Tasha Holland Kornegay. Dr. Tasha, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Mike, for that warm welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great to have you as well, Dr. Tasha. And you have a group called Wellness in Real Life, and you also had some experience as a school-based counselor for Wake County Public Schools. You also did some work for public housing in Durham, North Carolina, program coordinator, as well as working with inner city youth in New York City. And you have this concept, which is starting to really come together, and basically it's in need in times like this involving health professionals, called Wellness in Real Life. And before we get into all of that, tell us how I first got started.
Well, I pretty much kind of got started with the Wellness in Real Life platform because I was dealing with burnout, a little bit of burnout of my own. At the time, I was 42. I just had a baby at the age of 42.
Wow.
And also, I had a 17-year-old. He was graduating high school. So it was just a whole lot going on within my space. I was also running a group mental health practice. I was managing 13 mental health therapists. We had just started to relocate to a rural part in North Carolina, Sanford, North Carolina, to a farm area, and the house needed a remodel. So we had all of this stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And I pretty much hit a wall and started to experience burnout. Mm-hmm. And that is when the idea of Wellness in Real Life came into place. And a funny story about that was, a lot of people are like, well, when did it really hit you? And it hit me when I was having a cup of coffee. Coffee is like, it has always just been like my pause moment, my go-to drink, my vacation. And I noticed that my relationship with coffee had started to change. I was no longer pausing with it. I was just like gulping it down, and I started to depend on it for energy, and it wasn't fun anymore. And at that moment, I noticed, I said, okay, yeah, my relationship with coffee has changed. I know all of the symptoms of burnout because I am, a mental health therapist. So I knew the symptoms. I was kind of ignoring them. I kept pushing. And then I finally stopped. I said, okay, Tasha, you need to do something about this. And I knew at that point that I wasn't the only one dealing with burnout. I had people that, other healthcare professionals in my circle that were dealing with burnout. So I said, okay, I can't just stand here and just watch this. It's happening to me. It's happening to people in my circle. So that's when I sat down and came up with the concept of Wellness in Real Life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it all started.
And you talked about burnout quite a number of times so far already. And how does one experience burnout, and what are the symptoms of burnout?
Okay, well, some of the symptoms, and my husband would look, he didn't know what the symptoms were exactly, but I guess I played it out well. So if you talk to him, you would be able to spit it out because he watched me actually experience it. But one of the main symptoms is irritability. I became very irritable. Another symptom it's called compassion fatigue, which means, I just I'm not going to say I didn't care about my work, but it just wasn't there anymore. It was almost like I was existing. I was doing the work, but I wasn't there with the work. And, as a mental health therapist, you have to be all in. And I wasn't really all in. So those are the two top symptoms: irritability, for no reason at all. You're just irritable, and to have a new baby, a 17-year-old, I mean, most of the time you could just blame it on that. But I knew truthfully that it was burnout. Mm-hmm. My husband knew it was something because, everyone they know that I'm the life of the party. I always have a smile on my face. I'm very compassionate about what I do, people that are around me, and all of that started to change. So when others started to notice it, then that's especially when I knew that I needed to do something about it because it wasn't who I was.
Mm-hmm. And also we'll talk more about the website as well, too, Wellness in Real Life. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Dr. Tasha Holland Kornegay here on the Mike Wagner Show. She's the head and director of the Wellness in Real Life community, which is WIRL, and she'll give you the website as well, too. And we're on the webpage right now, and, tell us about the purpose of the Wellness in Real Life community, besides bringing health professionals together to help professionals. And you also offer a lot, like memberships. You got directory, marketplace, and some resources. You also got journalists as well, too. And also tell us a little more about Wellness in Real Life and how can one join?
Right. So, like I said, I wanted to create a platform that I could use, and also that would be, that my peer group could use. So with Wellness in Real Life, we specialize in helping healthcare workers eliminate burnout and reduce stress by providing them access to like the best deals in wellness, fitness, and self-care in their area. And when I was dealing with my burnout, this would have been perfect for me because it's a resource that you could just go to, and that's all. It's a reminder of what the signs and symptoms are. On my Instagram page, I post daily tips. So it's kind of like an in-your-face thing. And if I would have had a resource like that, I think I probably would have dealt with it a little bit faster instead of just kind of like plugging along. I just really didn't have anywhere to go. The best part about the website is it also helps local small businesses because the website connects these small businesses with healthcare workers. Uh-huh. So these businesses that are wellness related and they deal with, self-care and fitness and all that stuff, those are all the things that we need as healthcare providers to help us eliminate and reduce stress and burnout. Mm-hmm. So these, the deals are exclusive, like VIP deals. So far, my favorite product, I've been using it like every day. It's like a therapy like Play-Doh. It's called Pinch Me.
Pinch Me, interesting.
Yeah, and she's actually a therapist. The business that actually offered the deal, I think it's something like 30% off, and it's a tub of it smells so good. Like I have this one that I purchased. It has like a lavender smell, so that of course is a benefit in itself. You can use the Play-Doh when you're at meetings. I'm actually holding a piece in my hand right now doing this interview.
Oh, makes me want one. I can take one right now. And yeah, we are maintaining social distance. Although I can't see what's going on, so I can smell it and use some right now.
Yeah, so it helps. And the website also, once we're done with this pandemic, the website will also offer local meetups and networking opportunities for healthcare providers to be able to get together and just to be able to talk about some of the issues in the healthcare platform. What else do we do? It's so many things. Like I said, if you're a healthcare provider, you can sign up for free. And if you have a product or a book that you'd like to advertise to the community, you can actually put that on the website. What else do we have, Mike? It's so many different. I think I've poured all of my energy into this website. We offer a monthly newsletter. What else? Let's see. Like I said, it's so much. Mm-hmm. There's a marketplace on there. So if you need to travel as healthcare providers, we're always taking care of other people. So our time is it's really short. We don't really have a lot of time. So you could jump into this website and look onto the marketplace, and you don't have to, search for hotel deals or car rental deals. Everything is there. I'm a healthcare provider, so I know what we need, and it's all laid out there for us.
Now, is this just for the North Carolina area, or can this be accessible by anywhere throughout the United States? And if it's just North Carolina, any plans to have it like go regional, like South Carolina or even Virginia or say Georgia or Tennessee, or any plans to make it like nationwide or so?
Right. So when I first started the website, it was pre-COVID. So I was only thinking about this area, North Carolina. So once the pandemic had hit, I knew that it needed to be a national site. So right now it is accessible to any healthcare provider. And then as we continue to grow, we will expand it a little bit more to each state so that we can connect businesses in those areas. But as of right now, because of the pandemic, we kind of changed our structure, our business structure, so it is a national platform.
Mm-hmm. And I also noticed, too, that you have a thing in your journal called Maintaining Life Goals During Summer Relaxation, and maybe just tell us a little bit about that, and why is it so important to maintain your life goals during a summer relaxation despite the pandemic?
Well, yeah. Well, that platform, that article offers a couple just different tips to do during the summer because, things change. Your kids are home from school. Your whole life, it changes from season to season. Bills change because you're starting to vacation more and just do different things during that season. So it is now, especially doing social distancing, everyone wants to get out. It's beautiful out. So in our platform, in the newsletter, on Instagram, we offer alternative things that you can do to still also maintain the social distance, safety. Like I said, I have the pleasure of living on a 22-acre farm, so it's a little bit different for me. I can get out and really social distance. But there's so many other things you can do, even if you don't live on a 22-acre farm. You can go hiking, you can still go to a park and, stay 6 feet away. So you still can enjoy the summer months.
Mm-hmm. And I can tell you have a bunch of guests in the background, too, and maybe you can bring a couple in as well, too. So you got some company, so that's a good thing. If you feel like bringing them in, go ahead. So.
What you're hearing is just I'm sitting on my porch. So, and remember, I have a 2-year-old because he's actually 4 now. But because we're social distancing, the house is kind of tight inside. So I'm outside. So you're hearing the rain, the pitter-patter of the rain on the porch.
Mm-hmm. and some coffee as well, too. And we'll talk about what's coming up in 2020 for you as well, too. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can also check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Dr. Tasha Holland Kornegay here on the Mike Wagner Show. She is the owner of Wellness in Real Life. That's WIRL, and she was also school-based counselor for Wake County Public Schools and also the executive director for Oxford Man Achievement School in Durham, also program coordinator for communities and schools, as well as working with inner-city youth in New York City as well, too. And, of course, before we talk about what's coming up for 2020 and what's ahead for Wellness in Real Life, and you also ran inner city youth in New York City, and maybe tell us a bit about that. And also, some of your work with the Durham public schools, public housing, and program coordination.
Yeah. Well, let's see. The position in New York, Covenant House of New York. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a homeless shelter that's centered right in Manhattan in New York City. And I was a program director there. I ran the job development program there. So it takes me right back to the experience with Wellness in Real Life, working with businesses. So I gained some experiences working with businesses to kind of find out what their needs were. And at that time in my life, I connected young teens with business opportunities and jobs, and taught them how to write resumes, things like that, how to present themselves, how to interview, all that kind of stuff. So, but even back then, I worked with businesses. That's what I did in New York, and I did that for about 3 or 4 years, and then I kind of came back home to North Carolina, and I worked. I always like to give back to my community. I grew up in a depressed community. I grew up in an area in Durham, North Carolina. It was housing authority, Durham Housing Authority. So it was, like I said, it was a depressed area. So I went back. You know, a lot of people aren't going to go back into that community because of gun violence and just fear. So I went back into that type of community, and I worked with children in that community. And that's the Oxford Manor Achievement School that you see on my resume. And with that program, we worked with the North Carolina Hurricanes. They were a big part of that program.
I remember, yes. Wow. That was just unbelievable.
They won the cup. I think it was actually the year that I was working with them. So it was a really exciting year. But what they did was they provided a lot of grant money with this particular program that I was working with. And it kind of helped moms that lived in these depressed communities go back to school, get their GED, so that they could also be able to help their children with their homework. So it was a homework center where we worked with the kids and we worked with the moms, so that when the program was over, there's the connection. You don't need us anymore. You're educated. You can now help your child with your homework. So that was that. Like I said, I love going back and giving back because so many people have poured so much into me. I need to do the same thing. And that's the same thing with wellness in real life. You know, becoming a healthcare provider, you know, especially from with my upbringing coming out of a depressed community, you know, the stats were totally against what I would do, you know, in this world. So I'm like, my community members, I would sit on the porch and talk with them, and they would say, you know what, you should go to college. You should be a therapist. I'm like, really? Like, you always
I gotta say this. You're helping me a lot as well too, and I'm the one doing the show, and you're helping me a lot as a therapist. You're great at it.
You know, so that's how I kind of got into mental health. My community chose my line of work, so I went to school. I did it. Came back into inner city Durham, and like I said, I poured everything that I could pour into that city. Did my work there, and then, like I said, I'm always busy. And then I started dealing with burnout. So I'm like, okay, I can't help myself. I have to help my peer group as well. So
right,
that's how it all happened.
Right, and besides the burnout you've been experiencing as well too, and of course small business being affected by the pandemic, unemployment, and also of course you got the COVID virus. What are some of the current issues you guys are facing today, and also challenges to wellness in real life? What are some of the other challenges you guys experience, and how you guys handle it?
Yeah, that's the thing, because when you look at this business and this platform, when you look at both sides, the healthcare providers, we're out there, you know, we're fighting on the front lines. And then you look at the businesses, you know, they're suffering. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I'm stuck in the middle. You know, it's just not one-sided here. It's just like both. So what we're doing is we're making sure that healthcare providers, that they get the services that they need, the deals that they need, but we're also making sure that the businesses are able to stay afloat by, you know, being able to offer. We're connecting the healthcare providers in the business, so they don't really have to look for business, because we have the business, we have the healthcare providers. They need you. If you're a wellness related business, guess what? I have a whole group of people over here waving their hand because they've worked 12 hours and they need you. So I'm in the middle, and I'm able to help both sides, and I just love that platform.
Now, is Wellness in Real Life considered a not-for-profit? And if so, how do you guys get funding?
Well, no, it's not a non-for-profit, which is like really crazy, because everybody, you know, I also have a nonprofit, but most people, they're like, isn't it non-profit? Because you always do stuff to give back. I said, well, this one, I'm bootstrapped. So all of this is just basically the website that was built is from my hard-earned money. So it's from my savings account, my husband and I. It's from our savings account. So that's why I'm like, I'm really into this. You know, so this is like sweat equity. You know, we're up late at night, sending cold emails. Like we sent out probably 200 a day between my husband, myself, and a couple other people. So we're like, we know that there's an issue with burnout. Before COVID, it was considered a taboo. So I'm like, oh gosh, it's not a taboo anymore. We've got to put it out there. We've got to get these healthcare providers, and we want to help them. It's okay to talk about it. So I'm like, I have my skates on, and I'm like, we got to do this. We have to.
Mm-hmm. And that's fantastic. You're doing a great job. But once again, Dr. Tasha Holland Kornegay here on the Mike Wagner Show with Wellness in Real Life, and also a couple more things here. And you've been fantastic. Love to have you back on again soon. What are your plans for 2020 and beyond when it comes to Wellness in Real Life?
Oh, we're going to do some really, really cool things, Mike. Like, we launched June 1st, like fully launched. Right now we are in our beta stage, but June 1st we fully launched, and we plan to do some we plan to do some guerrilla marketing. So, and what I mean is we're going to get down in the trenches, and we're going to visit these healthcare workers face to face and take coffee to them and donuts and just whatever they need to help get them through the day. So it's going to be a very hands-on experience.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing, too. Every time we think about guerrilla marketing, just make sure you don't monkey around with it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's what I think of as well, too. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
In my career? Okay, well, I can't say one person, but, I'm just going to go with my grandma, only because when I was younger, she allowed me to dream. She allowed me to dress up as a businesswoman. One time I wanted to be a chef, so she opened her kitchen to me. So I'm going to go with my grandma, Margaret Schuler. She's no longer here with me in the physical, but she is in the spirit. So yeah. And I hope my mom's not listening, because she might be really upset.
We'll say hello to Mom as well, too, and maybe serve some home cooking. So, and what's the best? And some coffee. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
I mean, this is not even for healthcare workers. This is just for us in general, people. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't help anyone if you're burnt out. If you're empty, you can't pour anything into anyone. So it's just like when you feel like you're running on E, it's time to reevaluate what you're doing and re-energize, because you're not helpful to yourself or anyone else.
And I think that's a really good point as well, too. Once again, Dr. Tasha Holland Kornegay here on the Mike Wagner Show with Wellness in Real Life. A big thank you for your time. You've been more than fantastic. You've been very inspirational. Love to have back on sometime in 2020 and beyond. And before we go here, once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people check out your resources and also check out information about Wellness in Real Life?
Yeah, I'll make it really easy because there's so many different outlets, so I don't want to go through the social media pages. If you go directly to the website, wellnessirl.com, from there you can connect with me there. You can, my email's there, my social media pages is there, everything's there. So wellnessirl.com. It's just like at that point you can find it.
That is fantastic. Once again, Dr. Tasha, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic, very inspirational. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date, and love you to have back on 2020 and beyond.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.